What's up, good people? What's up, good people? It's your boy, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., the Impact Builder, coming to you on this Think Different Thursday. It's Greatness Thursday, y'all. Greatness Thursday. Greatness comes on Thursday. Well, greatness is every day, but greatness comes even more on Thursday. So I want you to have that in your mind today as you go through your day. You are greatness. I want you to say that to yourself all day today. I am greatness. And I want you to operate in that greatness. Y'all know what we're doing. Y'all know what we've been talking about all this week. And I'm loving it. I'm actually pumped thinking about this week and what I've been talking about. So I'm hoping it's feeding you as much as it's feeding me. But what we've been talking about all this week is what? Watch me work. Watch me work. I hope you've been telling yourself that all week. I hope you've been feeling that in your core from being able to watch me work. I want people to understand and know the passion that I have for what it is that I do, the passion that I have for my business, my brand, and who I am and who I am always becoming. That's what this Watch Me Work is all about. We talked about the beginning of the week. We talked about spotting opportunities, watching you work and spotting opportunities, watching you work and taking risk. The mind of an entrepreneur. It's Watch Me Work, the mind of an entrepreneur. And I want you to be willing to take those risks. I hope this week you've been willing to take those risks. Step outside of your box. Step outside of your comfort zone. And do those things that are going to stretch you, that are going to push you as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as someone who is shifting and moving in this life that we're in. Leaders take risks. Leaders spot opportunities. Leaders envision their future, envision the future. They think, we talked about yesterday, we think in decades. And as we think in decades, the monthly, the daily, monthly, the weekly, quarterly, yearly, they become our point of action to getting us to where it is that we want to be in a decade, 10 years from now, then another 10 years, or 5 years. We're thinking in increments, and that's not just small minds. So that's what we've talked about so far. So today, what I want to talk about is watch me work, but being able to adapt and to thrive. I'm going to ask you that question. Do you have adaptability? If someone were to ask you, what are your characteristic traits? Is one of those characteristic traits your ability to adapt, adjust, or shift? Would you use any of those terms to describe you as a skill set that you have? Do you have the ability to adapt? Do you have the passion to want to thrive? That's what we're dealing with today. We're going to deal with that today. And if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a leader, and you have the mind of an entrepreneur and the mind of a leader, you must be willing to adapt. You've got to. That is, if you don't have that, I'm telling you, if you don't get anything from today, the one word that I want you to have, that I want you to write down, I want you to write that word down. Adapt. Adaptability, shift, and adjust. I want you to write those 3 words down. I want you to think about that. Put it wherever you need to put it, on the refrigerator, on your mirror in the bathroom, on your computer, wherever it is that you need to put it. You need to put that word adapt. Because here's what happens. I'm going to talk to you. You have to have adaptability and flexibility because it's essential for your success. And I'm going to give you an example, a couple of examples of those companies, and then I'm going to give you an individual who was willing to adapt and adjust. The first one is Netflix. You know Netflix, the streaming movie system that we have on our TVs, more than likely on our phones, on our computers. You might even have it on your computer as well too. But here's what happened. Here's what happened with Netflix, and I don't know if you are familiar with this. Ride with me. Here's what happened. Netflix, the initial model for Netflix was this. I want you to understand this. The initial model for Netflix, it started in 1997. The initial model was 1997, and it started as a DVD and rental service, where customers could order DVDs online and receive them by mail. How many of y'all remember that? How many of y'all go back to when Netflix was a mail order online service for movies? You had back then, you had Blockbuster, you had Hollywood Video, you had these movie companies back then, but Netflix was the only one that you could mail in. The other ones you would go into the actual brick and mortar stores. But here's what happened. Here's the shift. Here's what happened with their shift. It says, as technology evolved and the internet increased, Netflix adapted by launching its streaming service in 2007. In 2007, they launched what's now the streaming service. They say this was a significant shift from its original business model. Are you adaptable? And we see where Netflix is today. And they had some further adaptation. It continued to adapt by creating original content, starting in 2013, with movies that they created and everything like that. But the key component was they were willing to adapt. And as a result of them adapting, what they were able to do, as we see them now, they actually are thriving. They're thriving. They're actually thriving, and they're thriving and doing even better than they would have. Honestly, you all know it, had they not adapted and shifted into what it is now. So what are you doing with your business? If you see that your business model isn't working, if you see something that needs to be adjusted, are you open-minded enough to adapt? Are you willing to adapt? Are you willing to adapt what it is that you're doing in order to be able to thrive? So that's one. The second one is, I don't know if you all are familiar with this one. It's a company called Slack. It's actually a management system, a business management system. But here's what Slack did. Here's what Slack is. And for those that might not be familiar with it, Slack actually is the initial model for Slack. It began as a side project of a company, as a company called Tiny Speck, which was developing an online game named Glitch. When the game failed to gain traction, the company faced critical decisions. They had to decide. The business model that they thought was going to work did not work. So as a consequence, they had to adapt what it was that they were doing in order to be able to be successful. They pivoted, they shifted, they adjusted what they did. But check this out. This is what they did. It says during the gaming development, when they were developing the game that they were developing, the team had created an internal communication tool. Internal communication tool. Recognizing its potential, they decided to place they decided to pivot. They decided to pivot. They decided to adjust. They decided to shift. And as a consequence, what happened was when they decided to do that, they actually began to focus on the tool that they had created. And it now is what we see as Slack. So check it out. Check it out. It's actually an interesting story, and I didn't know that until I researched this, until I looked this up, where Slack came from. And that's a powerful story, and it shows you that when you're willing to adapt, when you're willing to adjust, you, on the other side of that is you have the ability to thrive. So here's the last one. Airbnb is another example. Airbnb started off with somebody renting mattresses, and air mattresses, in their home. It's crazy, these stories. I'm going to tell you that one, but that one started off with them renting, renting. No, I got to read this one. I'm sorry, y'all. I got to read this one. Y'all got to hear this about Airbnb. The Airbnbs that you all go to now, that are just, a part of our everyday, what we do now is travel and everything like that. Here's what their initial model was. The Airbnb started in 2007, and what Airbnb stands for is air, bed, and breakfast. Air, bed, and breakfast. That's what the B&B is bed and breakfast. I think everybody knew that, but the air, bed, and breakfast. But here's where the air comes from. It says offering short-term living quarters and breakfast for those attending local events. Now, the founders initially rented out air mattresses in their apartment to make extra money. Yeah, you want me to read that again for you? Yeah, the founders of Airbnb started out by initially rented out mattresses in their apartment to make extra money. Here's the switch. The expansion and the growth, the thriving part of this. They're realizing the potential for a broader market, which is what they did. They expanded the platform to allow anyone to rent out their extra space from entire homes to unique lodging experiences. Now you go anywhere, and the first place that a lot of people will look for is an Airbnb. So when you have the mindset of an entrepreneur, and you're thinking about whether or not you will adapt, you will adjust, and how adapting and adjusting gives you the ability to be able to thrive even more, you take on the mind of an entrepreneur. And I got one more we'll talk about. His name is Inky Johnson. I was listening to him on my way to my walk, when I was doing my walk today. But I'm listening to him. If you're not familiar with him, check him out on YouTube. Very inspirational guy. He's a former athlete, and here's his story, and here's how it ties into adapt and thrive. He was playing college football. He goes to make a tackle, and his life was forever changed. He was looking to make it to the NFL, and was pretty good. And I think he was going to make it to the NFL. Might have been that good where he could make it to the NFL. But the injury ended his career, his football career. It ended his football career, but his adaptive entrepreneurship mindset. Watch him work. Here's what he did. His mindset, first of all, set the tone for everything that he is and does today. He didn't see the injury as life ending. He adapted, he pivoted, he adjusted. And he is now thriving as one of the most sought after speakers in the world. He goes all over speaking about his story, telling his story. It's a phenomenal story. Like I said, pull him up on YouTube. Inky Johnson is his name. And I promise you, it will illustrate what I'm talking about today. The adaptability and flexibility. His mindset first. And as an entrepreneur, you've got to be first, before you can adapt, You've got to be willing to be, you got to have the mindset to be adaptable and flexible. And what happens with when you have that mindset, it allows you to be able to be more apt to turn your challenges into triumphs, as Icky Woods did. He turned his tragedy, he turned that challenge of him being, not being able to play football anymore because of the injury that he sustained, to now thriving in being a speaker and talking to other speakers about how his life was changed and how their life can thrive in whatever it is that they do, and not allowing obstacles to keep you from where it is that you want to be. And here's what I want you to grab out of all of this. When others resist change, when they resist change, be willing to evolve. When others resist change, be willing to evolve. That's what that's what entrepreneurs do. Successful entrepreneurs, I should say that. Let me clarify that. Successful entrepreneurs, they are willing to evolve. They're willing to adapt. They're willing to adjust. They're willing to shift. Are you willing to shift? Are you willing to adapt? Or are you willing to do what others are resistant to do? And be open to tweaking things, to changing things? Or are you just so narrow-minded and narrow-focused that you can't see anything else? I get it. I know it's your baby, and you think that it has to be this way. Not all the time. Not all the time. So today I want you to be willing to evolve, willing to adapt. And when you are willing to evolve and when you're willing to adapt, it'll lead you to thriving in everything that you do. You gotta have a passion and a persistence if you're gonna thrive. You gotta be willing to shift and move. You got to be willing to go this way if that way isn't available. Are you adaptable? I started off by asking that question. Are you adaptable? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you a leader that's adaptable? That's what I want you to think about today. That's the homework for today. Are you adaptable? And how are you going to be adaptable so that you can thrive in everything that you do? It's your boy, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., the Impact Builder. We'll see you all right back here in the brand new suite on Finish Strong Friday. Today's Greatness Thursday. Greatness is adaptable. Greatness only thrives when it becomes adaptable. Ooh, I gotta say that. I gotta write that down, y'all. That's kind of good there. Greatness only thrives when it's adaptable. Be adaptable today. We'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Have a great day. Oh, I'm sorry. Before I go, y'all know I gotta do this. Y'all know if you want to become adaptable and you're not sure how to adjust, how to shift, then connect with me. We can have a conversation. We can have a strategy session on how you can, take a look at what it is, your vision that you have and the things that you're doing, and make sure that they're working, going the way that they're supposed to be doing. And then if there are anything that you need to adjust, that you need to shift, that you need to move, connect with me. I'll put you can DM me, or you can connect with me. I'll put the link in the description as well. You also know, hop on over to my YouTube channel. We're looking at 500 subscribers. We're down to the last couple days, so I'm trying to get these last few subscribers on my page, to my page. I need your help. Need you to share it out, but I also need you to subscribe and share it out for me. Comment, because we have all of this content that's here, that's for you. That's for you. I created for you. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing it for you so that you can reclaim your time, so that you can be more structured, more organized, and have a more meaningful impact in your family, and with your friends, and with those that you serve. It's your boy, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., the Impact Builder. We'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.